Happy Canada Day, London. You know, we have low self-esteem here because you fought the Americans for 7 years before you let them go. And in our case, you let us go in 1867 for a case of HP sauce. However, you did get the Americans back by sticking them with the Spencer, formerly known as Prince. So good for you. And that's basically it. I just want to say ta-ta, which never really caught on here outside the gay community. So long.
Please do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. Mike Bullard was a man who knew how to make people laugh. He could take everyday situations and turn them into something everyone could relate to, and most importantly, laugh about. As a Canadian stand-up comedian and television personality, Mike Bullard had a career that spanned decades. From his days on stage to his time as a talk show host, Mike was a beloved figure across the country. But his story was more than just jokes and punchlines. Behind the microphone and the television cameras, Mike was a husband, father, and someone who faced life's ups and downs with resilience. Sadly, at the age of 67, Mike Bullard passed away, leaving behind a legacy of humor and memories that will live on in the hearts of his family, friends, and fans. Mike Bullard was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. Growing up, he was the kind of kid who always knew how to entertain others. Whether it was making his family laugh around the dinner table or cracking jokes with his schoolmates, Mike had a natural ability to find humor in the world around him. After finishing high school, Mike didn't initially set out to become a comedian. In fact, he worked in various jobs, including as a police officer and a telecommunications worker. But even in these roles, his colleagues quickly realized that Mike had a unique talent. He could make anyone laugh. That talent soon became the foundation for a career that would take him to stages and screens across Canada. Mike found his true calling when he began performing stand-up comedy in Toronto's comedy clubs. His style was observational, and his jokes were often about the things everyone could relate to: relationships, daily struggles, and the quirks of life in Canada. Audiences loved him for his quick wit and down-to-earth sense of humor. Mike's comedic timing and charm earned him a dedicated following, and soon he was performing in venues across the country. His popularity grew, and he became a regular on the Canadian comedy circuit. For Mike, stand-up wasn't just a career, it was a passion. He loved the energy of the crowd, the spontaneous laughter, and the way a good joke could bring people together. The talk show years. Mike Bullard's big break came when he became the host of his own late-night talk show, Open Mic with Mike Bullard, in 1997. It was the first truly successful Canadian late-night talk show, and Mike was at the center of it all. As the host, Mike interviewed celebrities, musicians, and comedians, all while keeping the audience entertained with his signature humor. Open Mic was a huge success, and it ran for 6 seasons on CTV. The show was unique because Mike brought a Canadian sensibility to the late-night format. He was funny, but he was also approachable, like the guy you'd chat with at a local coffee shop. He didn't put on airs, and that authenticity made people love him even more. The show eventually moved to Global, where it was rebranded as The Mike Bullard Show. Although it didn't have the same long run as its predecessor, Mike's time as a talk show host cemented his place as a Canadian entertainment icon. While Mike's career was taking off, his personal life remained a priority. He was married, and though he kept much of his private life away from the public eye, it was well known that he was devoted to his family. Mike and his wife shared a close bond, one built on love, respect, and understanding. The couple had a son, and for Mike, fatherhood was one of his most cherished roles. He often spoke about how his family kept him grounded, even when his career was at its busiest. Mike's son was the light of his life, and he made sure to be present, whether it was attending school events or just spending quality time together at home. His family was his rock, especially in difficult times, and Mike often said that the love and support of his wife and son were what kept him going. Like many in the entertainment industry, Mike faced his share of challenges. In the later years of his career, he dealt with personal and professional setbacks, including a high-profile legal case that made headlines across the country. These were tough times for Mike, but he remained resilient. He stepped away from the spotlight for a while, focusing on his personal life and his health. Through it all, his family stood by him, offering love and encouragement as he navigated these difficult periods. Mike was open about his struggles, acknowledging that life wasn't always easy, but he faced it with the same humor and grace that had endeared him to so many. Though he lived much of his life in the public eye, Mike Bullard cherished the simple pleasures of home. He lived in a comfortable house in Toronto, where he enjoyed spending time with his family. His home was his sanctuary, a place where he could unwind after long days on set or on tour. Mike wasn't one for lavish displays of wealth. His lifestyle was modest, reflecting his down-to-earth personality. While he had success in his career, he valued the simple things in life, a quiet evening at home, family dinners, and the occasional barbecue with friends. At the time of his passing, Mike Bullard's net worth was estimated to be around $2 million. While this was a significant sum, it was never about the money for Mike. His wealth wasn't just measured in dollars but in the laughter and joy he brought to people across the country. Mike left behind a legacy that went far beyond his financial success. He was a trailblazer in Canadian television, and his contribution to the country's comedy scene was undeniable. He inspired countless young comedians and entertained millions of viewers over the years. Mike Bullard passed away at the age of 67, surrounded by his family. His death marked the end of an era in Canadian comedy, and tributes poured in from fans, colleagues, and friends across the country. People remembered him not only for his sharp wit but for his kindness, humility, and generosity. Mike Bullard, cause of death. Mike Bullard's death was confirmed by family members, and while a heart attack is suspected, the exact cause is still under investigation. His passing has prompted an outpouring of tributes from fans and fellow comedians, remembering his wit and contributions to Canadian television. His funeral was a private affair, attended by close family and friends. It was a day of both sorrow and celebration, a time to mourn his passing but also to remember the incredible life he had lived. Mike's wife and son were there, of course, and while they were heartbroken by the loss, they took comfort in knowing that he had touched so many lives. In the end, Mike Bullard's story is one of love, laughter, and resilience. He brought joy to the world through his comedy, but he also showed that behind the jokes was a man of depth, character, and heart. His legacy lives on in the laughter he inspired and the love he shared with those closest to him. Mike Bullard will be remembered not only as a comedian and talk show host but as a beloved husband, father, and friend. He may be gone, but his spirit, and his laughter, will live on forever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.